Hey beautiful soul, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so glad you have found my channel. Remember to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. I would love to hear from you. Wow. Right off the bat, you have Two of Cups. Amazing. I'm gonna get more. Please keep an open mind. Remember, this is still a general reading. So take this as a guidance. Where is your energy right now? Wow. Awesome. Spirit, show us more. I feel this card. Wow, look at that. The beautiful energy of this reading is starting to show. You know, this is not like a slow burn energy. I feel from the moment this person saw you. Maybe they saw you in passing just for seconds or by accident. And from that moment on, their mind stopped behaving like it used to be. What I mean is, like, they cannot return to normal even if they want to, you know? Like, they want to be practical about things. Like, they want to tell themselves it was just a random thing, you know, a random moment between you. Maybe you're just a stranger to them, or you're just like a random face. But you spark that feelings inside of them. They may try to push it away at first, but the problem is it was not random at all, okay? The strangest part is you probably have no idea of this ever happened. Yes. They still remember the exact instant they clocked you. Not as some dramatic cinematic scene, okay? That is what makes this unsettling. It was something almost boring. You could have been just walking through life, or you stop, you take a moment to adjust your collar or your sleeve or your cloak, whatever it is, or you're staring at your phone, you're laughing at something, or you're talking to somebody, you know, you're just existing the way you always do, and you're not like, you don't feel somebody watching you. Somehow in that ordinary second, you interrupted this person's entire mental rhythm. You know, when your attention locks onto someone for no reason. For them, it did not fade, okay? It stayed with them. This person, they went home carrying you in their thoughts. Yes. You stayed on their mind. They try to push you out, shake you off. They try to focus on other things, distract themselves. They try to act like it's all normal. They could be eating, driving, trying to take a nap, you know. But I see every time your face pop into their mind again. You know, like a switch, like they cannot switch off. You know, I feel it may sound ridiculous, but look, some of you barely spoke to each other. Maybe you just glance at each other all the time. Like some of them do not even know who you really are. But emotionally, their mind reacted like it has just identified someone dangerously significant. And I need to say this clearly. They try so hard to look unbothered around you. They try to look like they're not affected by you. You know, they try so unreasonably hard. But there were little cracks where they lost control. Yes, you kind of broken their control. You know, they could be holding eye contact a second too long with you, and then they snap away. Wow. This person may go unusually quiet because their thoughts are currently scrambled. They may act busy while maybe even trying to decode who you are or where you are, where you have been. Strangely, they're becoming subtly aware of how their voice vibrates when you're around. They could be replaying your interaction later, wondering if they look kind of weird around you. They're trying to put up persona. And this is not just casual interest anymore. Okay, this is what happens when someone gets emotionally hit faster than they were prepared for. It kind of embarrassed them. This person does not feel comfortable with how intensely they reacted, how it made them feel. They try to minimize it, downplay it. But every time they attempt to dismiss you, you keep coming back, okay? Your voice, your eyes, the way you move, the expression on your face. They remember things they should not remember. Just after a brief encounter, but yet they do. And I feel it's getting worse. They have started assigning emotional meaning to moments that probably meant nothing to you. One glance from you became like a whole internal event. One short conversation got replayed again and again. Some of them look you up later. They're trying to see if your energy felt the same through your photo or through the screen. And when they realize it did, their curiosity, they turn so much heavier. Because now fascination is mixing with obsession. They keep wondering things probably they would never admit it loud. They wonder if you're seeing somebody, or do you treat everyone like that? Did you feel the sparks or the tension between you? Do you even remember? Yeah. Was this entirely something one-sided? Is it all in their head? They are emotionally investing before the connection has even properly begun. And the loss of control is making this person spiral now. What's striking is this person does not normally behave like this. Usually they are guarded, they're composed. They may look detached. They are the kind of person who does not get shaken easily. But you triggered something impulsive in them. Suddenly, they care about their appearance. They are rehearsing future conversation. They're imagining future moments that do not exist yet. The funny part is how hard they are trying to hide it. Yes, how hard they are trying to play it cool. Wow. Yeah, some of them, I hear they delayed replies on purpose. If you're already talking, okay, you may wonder why they took so long to reply you. And I'm telling you now, they're doing this on purpose because they do not want to appear or seem too eager. So they acted colder than how they actually felt because they were scared of how quickly attachment was forming. Some avoided eye contact because the attraction became too intense, and they know, okay? They're realizing they're emotionally kind of attached. Yes. They're emotionally invested. It's kind of overwhelming, but that is the truth. It's like emotionally they're already gone. They cross the line from interest into affected almost instantly, and now they cannot undo. Yes. They cannot undo. You became one of those people who appears in the mind at random hours. You are the kind of presence that interrupts their day without permission. You're the kind of person they start comparing others to without meaning to. And they hate how much power you suddenly have over them. And just because you did not chase them, you did not try to get their attention or to seduce them, you were not performing. If anything, you're just being you. Yes. You being you is what made it even harder. You felt so real. You're unfiltered. You're impossible to ignore. That kind of authenticity pulled this person in faster than surface attraction ever could. They keep replaying your first interaction, trying to identify the moment something shifted inside of them. They want a logical explanation because the emotional reaction feels irrational. But the truth is, there was not one moment. It is stacked. A look, a tone, the feeling of standing near you. Your presence quietly built pressure until they had to admit something they did not want to admit. They wanted more. More conversation, more eye contact, more chances to be near you, more attention from you. And the second they realized that one was becoming emotionally serious, fear took over. Because now rejection would actually hurt. So now they are trapped in a routine they never intended to develop. Yes, during the day, they act normal. They act unbothered. They try to rationalize. But the second they are alone, your memory shows up at the worst times. It is actually becoming ridiculous for them. There is one moment that keeps looping in their mind like a scene they accidentally got addicted to, like what makes it most painful is you probably do not even remember. For some of you, it was a brief smile before you look away. For others, it was a softness, tenderness in your voice when you answered something casually. It was simply your energy lingering close to theirs. There was enough. Something about your presence felt emotionally dangerous in a way they cannot explain. They have tried to recreate the feeling elsewhere, but nothing compares. They have tried to talk to other people, probably buried themselves in their work, distracted themselves with friends and noise, but your energy keeps interrupting everything. Not like loudly, but quietly, which somehow makes it worse. You slip into the silence of their day, and once you appear, they lose focus again. I'm also picking up that meeting you make them hyper aware of themselves. Suddenly they question whether they look good enough, sounded confident enough, whether you notice them the same way they notice you. You've triggered some kind of insecurity and desire at the same time, which is why the emotions feel unstable. There is something hauntingly innocent about how they started, because the real life interaction may have been simple, almost nothing, but that contrast keeps bothering them. How did something so small affect me this much? They cannot understand it. The more they try to resist, the stronger it grows. Because now their imagination is filling the gaps. They imagine future interaction, future conversation, future chemistry, future closeness with you. Some of them have imagined what it would be like to hold your hand. Sit beside you a little closer, linger a little longer, hear you talk about your days or private things when nobody's around. Their mind created emotional reality before real life even caught up, and it kind of scares them. They can feel themselves attaching too fast, and part of them keeps trying to pull back before it becomes uncontrollable. That is why you may notice inconsistency. One day they feel pulled towards you. The next day they go distant or unreadable. Not because they disappeared, because they became too real. They are not like obsessing physically. If it was just lust, it would be simple, temporary, easy to compartmentalize. This feels psychological, emotional, almost personal. You lit up their curiosity on multiple levels. They want to know what your private world looks like, who you are when no one is watching, what hurts you, what excites you, what your attention feels like when it is fully focused on them. This has moved beyond surface attraction, even if they haven't fully admitted it. I'm also seeing another side of them. Yes, they could be getting jealous, but it's not controlling, it's not aggressive, it's not loud. Quiet jealousy, even possessiveness. The kind where they suddenly notice everyone around you. They're wondering who gets your attention without even trying. They're wondering if somebody already knows your side. Wondering if you treat everyone the way you treated them. Even small things affect them now. And honestly, they hate them more than anything. Because before you, they felt organized. They felt like they have it together. Now they overthink that tiny moments, like rereading things, readjusting plans. They notice when you disappear. They care whether you notice them. You change something inside of them without even trying. And that accidental power is becoming impossible for them to ignore. What's fascinating is how they keep performing casualness while privately feeling the exact opposite. Around others, they may joke about it. They may oh, it's just a little crush. They act like it's nothing. But when they're alone, it has become so consuming. There are moments they wish they could switch their feelings off just to think clearly again. Because your presence is distracting, even your absence is distracting them. And lately, The intensity is growing instead of fading. Distance is feeding their imagination. Every unanswered question becomes an opening for obsession to deepen. The less they know, the more curious they become, the more mysterious you feel, the further they fall. They keep trying to figure out if you sense any of this. If your intuition caught the moments they lost their composure, because these were the moments. The moments where they stayed too long. Moments where their energy changed the second you got too close. Moments where their nervous system reacted before their mind could control it. And afterward, they replayed it, hoping they did not embarrass themselves. But deep down, part of them hopes you notice, because despite their fear and their chaos, they cannot deny this anymore. Meeting you woke something up in them, and they had been asleep for a long time. And that awakening is why this feels dangerous to them. Before you, they thought they had themselves figured out, all their life mapped out. But life felt predictable, manageable. Even relationships started to feel like a routine. Nothing surprised them. Then you appeared in one ordinary moment. Suddenly they were feeling things they were not prepared to feel again. They compare who they were before you to who they are now internally, and it unsettles them. Because now they catch themselves doing things they used to tease other people for. They're checking if you text them. They're checking if you posted. They're replaying things like whatever you say, like your conversation before sleep. They're wondering who you are with when you go quiet. They're smiling at themselves as something you said. Getting irrationally happy over brief attention. They know it is embarrassing. But what affects them the most is not even your appearance anymore. It is a feeling they get around you, like how you make them feel. You make them feel alert and calm at the same time. Nervous, but so excited. You make them feel seen, but also exposed. And they have not felt that combination in years, maybe like ever. Most connections in their lives started predictably. This one did not. This one hit suddenly, deeply, without warning. Their body reacts to you before their thoughts can even catch up. Even when they act composed, their attention shifts the second you enter. Their mood changes after you speak. Sometimes they rehearse conversations before they see you because they are anxious about saying the wrong thing. That is how much pressure they feel. I was sensing something specific. They have imagined you noticing them the same obsessive way they notice you. They fantasize about you watching them, feeling the same kind of anxiety or tension, because what drives their obsession is uncertainty. They cannot read you fully, and it's driving them insane. You kind of feel emotionally hard to predict. And instead of pushing them away, that mystery makes them more addicted to figuring you out. Sometimes they convince themselves it is all in their head. Then you do one small, tiny thing. It may be a small gesture, a smile, a friendly look, a shift in the energy, and everything comes crashing back twice as strong. It has become almost exhausting cycle. They try to calm themselves down. They try to look the other way, and then your energy pulls them right back in. I have to say this clearly. They are trying so hard not to look desperate, not to look so eager. That's why they move inconsistently. They appear interested, then distant themselves. They get too warm, too close, too soon, and then they pull away, almost unreadable. But it's not because they do not care for you, because they are so terrified you will see how deep this already goes. Because if you understood how much space you take up in the mind, they think they will lose all the power in the connection. So they try to hold control, but their control is already broken. Late at night is the hardest time for them. That is when distraction disappear. That is when they stop pretending. And the thought about you becomes so intrusive. They keep thinking about what you're doing now. Who are you talking to? Are you thinking about them too, Could this become real if they stop resisting? The more they imagine emotional closeness, the more the attachment grows. They have even started imagining intimacy that's not just a passion. They imagine the kind of intimacy like talking to you for hours, sitting closer and listening to your real thoughts, learning your moods, watching your habits, feeling chosen by you emotionally. That desire has become deeper than they expected, which is exactly why they are scared, because this has consequences now. Before you, they could easily walk away from surface level attraction, but you do not feel easy to walk away from. You feel like the kind of person who changes people after you enter their life. Whether they would want to admit it or not, they can already feel you changing them. Even friends may have noticed subtle differences. Maybe they're more curious about anything connected to you. Yes, because no matter how well they hide it, this obsession keeps growing. And what overwhelms them most is how natural it feels. That is the terrifying part. It does not feel forced, okay? It feels instinctive. Like the emotions attach themselves to you before logic could intervene. They do not decide to care this much. It happened quietly, rapidly, almost irreversibly. And I hear lately they have been asking themselves a question that scares them more than anything. What if you become impossible to forget? Deep down, they already know the answer. Alright, my beautiful souls, I'm gonna end it here. So let us get some signs. It could be repeating signs you already seen too many times to ignore. You may see your own initials or your person's initial. Okay, let's get some of them now. This could be birthday, birth month, birth year, life path, angels numbers. So somebody told me like I cannot accept the sound that the charms are making. I'm gonna pull the charms. I may shake it a little bit, so some of you may want to lower the volume. So I cannot be on my end like trying to lower volume and trying to like manage all this charm pulling, so I hope for your understanding. Okay, I cannot do everything at once. So you on the other end, you have the choice to lower the volume, so I hope for your understanding. Okay, I'm saying 666. This could be 99 as well. Yeah, 666. Okay, they're a bit of their mess, but doing their best. They're trying to do their best. Yes, they wanted to be so perfect, you see. They want to be perfect for you. Yeah, like I say, they're trying to like appear, you know, took notice of their own appearance. They want to appear perfect for you. You're my cup of tea. 1111. And reminder, you owe yourself the love you give so easily to others. I don't do ordinary. What a weird little smile. Maybe they're putting on this smile in front of you. You are safe with me. They want to be safe. They want you to feel safe. Better things are coming. I keep seeing the silly smile, like silly smiley face. Maybe they always act silly around you. Therapy, I'll be there for you. They want to be there for you. If someone going through therapy, you are worthy. Oh my gosh. They're dead inside, but maybe they feel numb inside, okay? Yeah, they feel numb. You make them kind of, Maybe I'll pull some of my mini bits. Virgo, Gemini, Cancer, Taurus, Cancer again. K, another Virgo, KSY, Libra, Aries, Seven, T, 6776 or 9. We got 8 and Gemini. This could be angels numbers. You may want to Google them. Could be 867, 897. Alright, I'm going to end here. Take care, guys. Love and light to you. See you soon.